You disrupt our entire day, make us shoot 2 hours, 3 hours ahead of time, and now it's still got to be on your time. Because you want to allege you got a fake ferry.
I do have a real ferry I have to catch.
Fake ferry. All right.
It crashed, and so therefore it threw everything off.
I know. You told me the lie. I got it.
I'm gonna send you the email that will confirm this ferry story.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It sounds like your backyard has been a trip. Not only you got mosquito bites.
Yes.
You ran out of water.
Yeah, we did.
And somehow and lights. Are you alive? Are you in civilization? Actually, I kind of like that idea of not being in civilization.
All right, well, let me stop lying to the people. I am actually on vacation. I know that they were totally fooled.
Yes. Yeah. How was your vacation?
It's been wonderful. It's been great. A great group of folks. We've had some good times. We have eaten some fabulous food. We have drank some fabulous liquor.
I bet you one thing you didn't run out of. You didn't run out of liquor.
Yes, we ran out of water, but not liquor.
One can't survive on liquor alone, Jemele. When did you guys get water?
I don't really even know how the water shortage happened, but apparently, like I'm in a house. This view is really spectacular because it's over. Like I have all beach and everything right to my left, and despite being surrounded by water, we ran out of water. So the house had no water. So I could have brought you the spa water. That was the thing. But would that have worked as well in a toilet? Because we had to rough it to the point where we had to pour water in the toilet to get it to flush.
Oh.
The look on your face right now, you're looking like, that sounds terrible.
It's such an inconvenience.
But we braved it, Cari. We braved it. Yes, we did. And then last night, we ran out of electricity, apparently. The whole island did. And so we are on the lovely island of Tortola, which is one of the British Virgin Islands. And Tortola just decided that maybe they put the light bill.
Too many of y'all.
It might be. Maybe we
using
had like
too much of the water, using too much of the light.
Listen, when black folks ain't got to pay for the electricity, we just gonna use it all.
Leave it on.
We just gonna leave it all. It's just what it is. But
there's no
last
point.
Night, the electricity said, we're not doing this today.
Yeah, we're not dealing with y'all.
We're not dealing with y'all. So the electricity ran out. So I'm actually very thankful we were able to do this podcast because I thought for sure we would wake up to no electricity. Mm-hmm. And then we just, I don't know, we just would have been stuck. But beyond that, it has been a terrific, vacation, time to reset, relax. Yeah. I got a little browner. So people can stop thinking I'm bleaching my skin. Yes, yes. I'm like, I'm not bleaching my skin.
Everybody think you bleaching. You're like,
they do. I'm just like, I'm just light skinned.
They say that all the time about everybody. Don't nobody. It's annoying. Like, those are just things you say. That was a paid bot from Bangladesh. No one really cares.
Okay. So, but beyond all that, it's been great. And especially when you're traveling with friends, it is hard to find, as you know, the right people to travel with.
It's hard to find people you like in general in society, but it's even more difficult to be able to travel with people that you don't necessarily fool with. So I agree with you in that way. So what is it like when you couple travel? It's hard to find couples you like.
It is because we were talking about that yesterday. Because sometimes you might like one person in the couple more than the other person in the couple.
All the time.
Then what do you do?
All the time.
I just don't think it can't be imbalanced. So it can't be like, oh, I like this person here, but the other person I like about here. It has to be like a little more even. Like I can like one person more than the other, but it can't be so bad that I can't be in the room with the other person. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yes, of course. Yeah. They have to be tolerable.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you have to be. And so with this particular group, this is probably like our fourth or fifth trip. So we travel really well together. We're all on the same page. It's wonderful. Ain't nobody on some cheap shit because that's the worst. That's what I find out about being in New York. It's hard to find friends who are not cheap. It's really interesting because it's such an expensive city to live in. Everyone's waiting for somebody to pick up the bill. I've never seen people lag with the bill ever in my life, unlike in New York.
York. Like, when we're in LA, it's a fight
I
for the
was
bill.
saying in LA. I was
LA
like, so
is
you
a fight
find
for
it
the bill.
different.
In New York,
Okay.
they'd be like, you got it? You're like, damn, everybody's cheap. Except for, I will say this, my neighbor who lives upstairs is not. She's not. She's
Okay.
always like, she's the rare woman, I mean, outside of when you go with dates, but she's the rare woman I hang out with who's like, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, what? It's shocking. It's usually me. So it's so shocking. But I get it. Yeah, no, I don't like that. It's hard to, it's same with couples. It's hard to, it's also like, it's like finding friends as an adult. Once you have really got your queue of people, it's hard to find people. I think after a certain age, I even say maybe, I don't know, maybe 40, I don't know, 35. I guess you're done with your friends at that time. But like,
you think so?
instead, well, I got you late in life. I got you in 30s. So I guess, but I think that's rare. Like, I don't think that's because we're just so set in our ways. We'll have friends that'll be around. You can get closer to people that you've known for years, right? Like, say, like, for instance, I've known Tommy, my girl Tommy, for years, and we've gotten closer later in life. But she's been in my life for a very long time. But you knew her for a while.
Right. Okay. I got you.
So she's not a new friendship. Last night, speaking of a new friendship, I met Alice Smith, the artist, the singer, Alice Smith? Follow her on Alice.
I don't know who nobody is.
I know. Well, I met her last night. I met her earlier in the day, actually, at brunch. We went to this place called the Golden Swan. I was with my friend Sarni and my other friend Erica, and they brought Alice, and she is a talented artist. I had no idea. But I've heard of her music before. And we hung out all day. And I was like, oh, this is interesting because you know what she was? She was a Sagittarius. A Sagittarius like you. I was like, y'all my people.
Y'all my and people. Geminis go together
we
like
go together.
Butter and jelly.
We go together real bad. We go to real bad. Just immediately get together, friends, love one another. And that's what we did. We terrorized the city. It was such a beautiful day in the city. It was so beautiful. We walked around. We had a beautiful brunch. Then we kind of just walked around the village, got my nail fixed because it was broken, bought a candle. Those kind of days where you're just enjoying the day.
You just stumble into an adventure or two.
Girl, that's the best. Let me see. That's the magic of living in New York City. Stumbling into an adventure or two. The other thing that I want to point out is that I broke my shoulder this weekend.
What did you do?
I was doing, first of all, I've been doing solid core and hot yoga every other day, alternating. And this shoulder is clearly not broken, but it's hard to move.
Can you lift? Can you?
I can. There you go. This is like a little tear. Yeah, it's just like a tear.
That's not a little tear.
But it's like you. I've been doing. If you do this, it helps it.
They've invented these things. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called doctors. They can actually look at your shoulder.
Somebody tells me
an X-ray.
I don't want it. So I am. I am going to LA, so I am going to go see my doctor in LA, see if he tells me what I need to hear. But I just want you to know your girl's had a full weekend. While you were in a lovely, beautiful backyard, my shoulder was dislocated, I don't think, but maybe.
So what move were you doing when this happened?
It's just the push-up. Okay, well, first of all, the days before I did an arm wrap, and it's a lot of weights, like heavy weights on your arms, your shoulders. I did that as solid core. And then I did core power yoga, and it's like a push-up. And I heard my arm go right here.
Those are not good sounds.
I like crunch. And I know I tore something or I sprained something. I put some CBD oil on it.
Not you self-medicating. Did the oil help? Did it help?
It helped.
Did you feel nice and happy after you did that? Okay.
I was like, this is the best thing ever. I love it. And so it was good. And then I went on a date. I went on a date and my arm was hurting, so I wasn't helping the date. This was a good date. So
when you were on the date, were you like?
I was like this. I was like, so what's going on? Really? Tell me more.
and so what fine gentleman caller did you go out on a date with?
You met him before. I don't know why you're trying to pretend. You met Secure King.
Secure King.
King.
Secure King. Oh, yeah. Secure King is quite lovely.
Secure, you like Secure King.
I
You
did
like
like
him.
Secure King. Yes,
Yeah,
I
he
did.
was nice. He was lovely. He was nice. We have differing political views, so I don't think that we will probably be able to do much. But I think I really enjoy him, and I think he's about to be a great friend. I like him, though. I like him.
Okay.
You know, he may be more progressive. We haven't had the political conversation, but it's so
But
weird.
do you just suspect, or did he tell you?
I suspect. I just don't want to get into it yet because I think I'm open enough to date someone who doesn't have to believe everything that I believe, but there has to be some foundational agreements.
There's got to be a little bit of alignment.
There has to be, otherwise
right.
I don't know. You tell me. When you were single, could you ever be with someone who didn't align in the way in which you thought? Would it ever? It doesn't have to be a monolith, but can you be with someone who's completely different?
In this political climate, no. And that's just because this political climate is currently very extreme. So somebody who is the opposite of me might be wearing a red hat. And if they wearing a red hat,
no.
We ain't got nothing in common.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Not that opposite.
Right. But if they're just a little bit more conservative, if they're just more conservative, that's what I'm saying. That's fine. I don't care about that.
Could you be with someone who was in the middle, who went either way?
It depends on about what. And, this is... I'm also operating and existing in this life clearly as a Black woman. So there's just certain things racially that we have to have alignment on. Otherwise, it's going to create an issue. Right. So, yeah, I can deal with a little bit more conservative. I can deal with a lot of things. But it's like anything, I would say anybody who questions my right to exist or people who look like me to exist, they might be fine with me.
Oh,
but
yeah, no.
If you feel like
generally,
oh,
yeah. Girl, that's extreme. Okay, no, what I mean by, I would never. What I mean by that is that someone who's like, well, I vote for my taxes. I don't necessarily agree with everything else.
When people say that, I never believe that. I'll be that's your taxes. You ain't even rich enough. What are you talking about? Most people are not. Right.
Yeah. But when people are, do you believe that? When people do you believe
because
that?
I think they're just using that as an excuse.
As an excuse, okay.
As an excuse because again, in this climate, that's what makes this climate really different. Because 20 years ago, my answer would have been different. 20 years ago, I might have said I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this climate requires you to be this. This is no joke. It's serious times. Now, I definitely don't know how this person voted. I just think his alignment. So, for instance, well, let me be careful. So he has wait, shoot, telling everybody's
don't give
business.
Too many details.
Yeah, I know. Well,
but he's very successful.
And what he does for a living requires him to have, I think, conservative views. But everyone he is engaged with, who he is around, are people who are definitely not of this administration. They definitely are on board with how we see life. They're very politically active. You're like, oh, okay. I met him in a political environment. That's why I was like, oh, I'm surprised by your views because I've met you in an environment where I also have peers and colleagues. So, but if I had to guess, and I don't want to guess, so I'm just enjoying the time because I'm dating because that's what you're supposed to do. It's a numbers game. And let me tell you something. It is the ghetto. As Nia Long said, it is the ghetto. Let me tell you, stay married. I'd rather be on an island with no power and no water with my boo.
And no water.
And pouring and getting eaten by mosquitoes and pouring water in the toilets. It sounds like heaven in comparison to the dating world. You are in heaven, friend. And speaking of the dating world, let's just get into it.
Oh, girl. Don't. My heart is still breaking. It's still breaking. The breakup that has completely rocked the internet, of course.
Men,
Klay Thompson.
Are you okay?
Uh-oh. Are we back to this?
Men, are you okay? Attention.
It's like, Cari, we tried to give them a break. Or at least I do. You don't. You be like,
I give them a break. I do. I give them a break by not talking about them because I'm so tired of y'all jumping me into mentions. I got beat up in the mentions for just pointing out that all of the single men are married. And I'm tired of it. Y'all get mad at me for saying the truth.
For saying
Ain't nobody more single than a married man. But speaking of all you single men.
Oh my God. And so, yes, we know it's official now. Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson have broken up. And I know there's a lot of people that are just like, well, what do you expect? Or, you couldn't have thought this was going, this was going to be successful. But I was really rooting for this relationship in particular because of all the things Meg Thee Stallion has been through, because of obviously what happened with her and Tory Lanez, and the fact that there was this whole internet mob that was trying to call this woman a liar about what happened to her. I'm like, she got shot, y'all. Like that it is what it is. And so given the levels of misogyny I have seen play out about her online, her being loved out loud in this way felt really affirming for a lot of reasons. And I think that's what a lot of women were thinking, like, oh man, especially her being a Black woman, she's being loved out loud. She may have got her prince. Only for, just why, Cari? Why did you get me to believe? Why I was believing in something.
How did I make you believe? You know how I feel.
Yeah, I do. And it wasn't you in particular, but I got invested. I was believing.
You did.
And now I'm just like, what is we going to do?
I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be popular. One of two things. Lord. Men are not okay. They just aren't. And they cannot, because according to what she said, I don't think that she said he was cheating. I think she just put that word out there. But maybe he was cheating, and I don't know. But she said cheating, and then you read the rest of the statement, friend, because I want to tell you how I interpreted it as opposed to how most of the internet interpreted it.
All right, so this was the statement which she put on her IG story. She said, "Cheating had me around your whole family playing house, got quote unquote cold feet, holding you down through all of your horrible mood swings and treatment towards me during your basketball season. Now you don't know if you can be monogamous, question mark, question mark, question mark." And then she said, "Bitch, I need a real break after this one. Bye, y'all."
So when she said cheating, that was like, to me, that was more like a question mark, or is that what you think you want to do? Or because she said, now you don't know if you can be monogamous.
Right.
Her saying that leads me to believe that maybe she called him cheating, but maybe he said he just didn't want to be in a relationship with her anymore that way. I'm not quite sure what went on. It was very, very vague, and it wasn't straight up giving out the allegations, but it was leading us to the fact to think that maybe he did it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised. Let me just say that. I would not be surprised. Right. I don't necessarily know, though, and I'm hearing this from people that know him and are in that relationship, and as far as they can be in the relationship, and that they had understandings, they had agreements, they had a way about one another. No, it wasn't like you can go out here and cheat, you going to cheat, but like,
is this the don't embarrass me rule?
From my understanding, according to somebody that I know who knows him, right? So I'm not speaking for her point of view. It said, don't embarrass me. I think, in the world that we work in, these athletes have a very hard time being faithful. And I'm not saying this goes for every single athlete, but what I do know is that you can only dodge women in the lobby for so long. You can only, because these women, once they got their eyes on these men, they're relentless. They don't give up. They show up at the games. They somehow end up back in the locker room, near the locker room, in a tunnel, somewhere they are. They're in your DMs. I have so many friends that are athletes or former athletes, and I'm like, Cari, the DMs are sick. They get to us. They know what we want. It's like, you can hold that dude. And I'm not excusing their behavior, because that's just, men are not okay, as we established. But I don't know what she was saying there. And then her publicist came out and gave a much more clear statement saying it's over. My first thought was like, dang, Meg, take a beat. I know you mad and your feelings are hurt, but let's just take a beat. We didn't have to take it to the internet, but okay, take it to the internet. It's fine. But their whole relationship has been out loud. But here's my thought process is, I am mad at you, and I'm furious if in fact you did cheat. However, if I circle back and I done got turned all the women up, because Klay gonna lose his life if he step outside. I don't think Klay can even go outside no more.
I don't think he understands. Like, if
come
you
outside,
do come outside,
we're not gonna fight you.
No, they are gonna fight him and jump him.
Like, no, my point is, they come outside, Klay. Come outside. Come on outside, Klay.
I didn't heard
Come
this man
outside.
be called so many things that I was just like, oh my God, does he not understand? Luckily, his season is over for his team, because if he had games to play, I think they might hoorah on that brother before he got to the
Throw
game.
eggs at him, tomatoes. I'm like, he needs security. Women are upset, and women too are not okay. They are furious. There are so many viral messages going out there talking about, let's get to the coach, let's get to the owner, let's get to his barber, let's remove all the chargers out of his house. Let's make sure he can't get his cleaning.
Let's hide all the remote controls.
They want to go to his mama house and take out all the windows. I'm like, y'all are everybody crazy.
But some of this is, as I said, like to some degree, especially during this time where it feels like we're often in a barrage of bad news all the time, is that people do latch on. It's kind of like the whole Prince thing.
Yeah,
it's like
give us hope.
It gives you hope. And especially, for women, it's like, okay, there are some good ones out there. And even though he's a professional athlete, and as you said, by all metrics, this is so, unfortunately, it's so normalized in that business, because like you, it's like if I had to think about maybe all the athletes I've covered or encountered, I would say on less than one hand are ones I actually think were faithful. And because it's just the amount
of culture.
Of options,
it's the environment. It's normalized. Correct. It's not unusual. They're enablers. Sometimes the women are enablers. Your significant other can be an enabler. You could bring your girlfriend to work. No one cares, and your wife is at home. Like, there's just so much of that going on, and we don't talk about it often because we're not supposed to talk about people's personal lives. But I do understand when you go into a relationship with an athlete, there is an understanding that 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, like you know what I mean?
It's a don't ask, don't tell.
It's an exhausting relationship for these women.
Correct.
It really is. But who knows what has been established between the two. And so I really love them. I love how he made her what appeared to be softer. I wanted her I love how she smiled when she was around him, and she was really, really happy. I love that she was cooking. She was like, just my man, my man, my man, my man, my man, my man. I'm like, I love all that. I hate that this happened to her. I don't want to say we know everything that happened, but I don't want to just go at him like, oh, he got a bunch of women, because now you're bringing other women into this. They're bringing other women into this that we don't even know have anything to do with it.
Right. They brought our girl Lexi Brown into it. It's like she caught a stray.
Lexi in this. Like she's like, I'm over here minding my business, just trying to stay in my bikini, and now and they're like, you turned your comments off. Absolutely.
Yes, because y'all were being ridiculous.
Y'all really telling me to come outside, and y'all don't even know the story. That's where I take a little issue. I'm all like, everybody pump your brakes and pull over, as our boy Ludacris said. Just everybody pump your brakes and just pull over for a second. You know what I mean? Turn up the radio, check your rear view, grab a sip of water. Yes, we can be mad. Yes, we can be upset that she's hurt. Yes, all of those things, because Meg is our girl. But don't take down another woman in the process because you are mad at what's happening to this woman without really knowing the facts. Like, that to me is a no. That's like, just pause. Let's just take a beat. Second thing is, don't nobody really know what went down in that relationship. And I was sad for her because I know she is heartbroken. And it sucks because it hurts to have your heart broken. And you do need to take a break, Meg. Go and take that break, sis. Take that break.
She's on Broadway right now.
Focus on your career.
Focus on your career. I saw how emotional she was after one of the last performances where she cried. Like, she cried when she came out on stage, and it was like, dang, man. The other thing too is, like, I've seen some people sort of criticize her because, like, oh, that's what you get for, like, loving somebody out loud. Like, oh, you were
that's stupid.
Doing all, and I think that's stupid. I was like, of course, if her feelings are genuine, it's okay for her to do those things. Yeah, like,
love me. Don't love me privately. Love me publicly.
Shalant me, right?
Shalant me.
Shalant me. There's nothing wrong with her shalanting or being shalanted. There was nothing wrong with either of that because they were in the thick of it.
I don't like how this is devolved into the gender wars again, and all these these men are saying this and the women have to say this. I don't know where this came from. I really, really don't. And I do want to blame men because I feel like they're not evolving. I do. I just feel like they stick to a side. They stick to what it used to be like and what women should be doing. And I'm all like, y'all gonna have to evolve. This is not your grandmother's or your great grandmother's, world anymore. Everybody doesn't need an MRS. While they want one, they don't need it anymore. And so you also too have to be willing to change your ways. Like this stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. Women look the other way when they are married. They don't say much. They keep it to themselves because they aren't the breadwinners, one. And two, they just don't want to disturb the household because society says women are supposed to be presented a certain way. I don't know what archaic thought process that is, but it's not fair. And sometimes people don't need to always feel the need to carry on that type of patriarchy. Like you don't have to do that. You can be different. And look, I'm not talking about women. I'll get to women. We'll get to women. We got another episode coming up where we talk about women and the responsibilities of what women should be doing. Right. I honestly, if I'm keeping it a buck with you, I'm not going to social media when I break up with Shalon King and be like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Or whomever. I just don't do that. One, I'm very private. But two, I just don't see the need. I didn't think she needed to do that just yet.
You don't think she needed to say anything?
Yeah, not yet. Let it play out.
Just let this just kind of, all of a sudden we notice they're not together.
Yeah, like I kind of felt like something was going on because you haven't seen them a lot, but I feel like, oh, she's in Broadway. Maybe he can't get here. He's doing the playoffs. She was mentioning how moody he is. It's interesting because Klay, I interviewed him some years ago. He pointed out how one time I had interviewed, one of the few times I interviewed Kobe said he thought that Klay and Steph were the best backcourt. And Klay had said years later that he remembers that day. He holds on to it. It means so much to him as here, how he is, how much my dad played for the Lakers, the whole thing. And he was really, really, really doing his best to get over, I think, feeling like he might have been in Steph's shadow when he was with the Golden State Warriors. Right. And Steph is just, like we know, the most impactful player. But Klay, those two, they were the best backcourt at one point when they were building that dynasty there. And I felt this is just what my intuition said while interviewing him, that he had something to prove and he felt away. And so when he was traded, first of all, injuries, then he gets traded. I think that really broke his heart. I don't think he thought, and you remember the trade, it was like, oh, wow, okay.
Because he imagined himself playing with them his entire career. Like he did not want to go anywhere else. And I think that's the other side that people don't talk about in these relationships, is that beyond just the whole infidelity part of it, is that being with, I think, a professional athlete can really be an emotional up and down because of their careers. Like they get depressed, they go through mood swings, as she mentioned in her post. You're dealing with a player who's not what he used to be and is looking at the backside of his career. So there's
that's a tough thing to
That's
accept.
a tough thing to go through. Exactly. So there's a different reality setting in from him because he's like mid-30s now, not the player he was. As you said, was in the shadow of someone else who's an all-time great. So there's a lot mentally that is there that he has to kind of wade through. And so imagine being in the relationship with somebody trying to navigate all of those things. It's like it kind of takes a special temperament to deal with that.
It takes a very special temperament. And they both have very, very well-known stories of pain and grief and suffering.
So in that way, I thought that's why it would work, is because as an entertainer, she goes through that too. That there's an understanding
even
there.
Personally, her mother, her grandmother, we know those stories. Like she has a lot going on and she has a lot of hurt as well that she's talked about. I think that she's looking for family and she probably thought she found it with him. And this is where we go. We're like, I question. I'm like, Klay, were you really into her? Or did you just need a little shine?
A little boost?
You need a little shine because your career was on the other end. Like, was this going to be something popular for you that you like so you could be in the headlines every now and again? Because she gave you a little more je ne sais quoi. She gave you some swag. She gave you a different look. Women on the internet were like, ever noticed that Klay guy? I
she did.
Hear women saying that.
You're right.
And so in my mind, I'm all like, this is the responsibility that men have to now own up to. You cannot take someone who is so ginger, who's been through so much, and she's probably shared that with you too, and then use her for benefit. And then when it doesn't work and when you really can't live up to that standard, say, oh, never mind. Because you saw she was deep. deeply in love, you know,
Deeply.
or at least that's what it appeared
That's
to
what
be
it
for
looked like.
us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So what were your motives and what were her motives? I think hers might have been a little more pure. And I think that he didn't understand the responsibility that came with that. And so her hurt is understandable. But I'm saying, girl, we don't always have to take it to the internet. Let it take a beat. Pull over.
Do you think that them being as public was like a detriment? Because you said you don't have to take it to the internet, but their whole relationship was to the internet.
I like it. I wouldn't have minded her letting us know how she felt about him. I really would not. I just felt like that tweet was that post was an emotional post. And I would have loved if she would have gathered. But when you pissed off,
you pissed off though.
Girl, I was supposed to say, this is why we love her. That's why she made great music. That's why she like my man. She is who she is. So I was just saying, in hindsight, I wish she didn't do that, but it doesn't matter because everything that she did is on brand. Is who she is. It's why we love her. It's why we think she's amazing. She does everything big. And so that will be also the case. So we have to understand that. And I'm not going to listen, honey. I just wonder if years from now she'll say, I could have handled that differently.
Well,
I'd have to sick the entire internet on him because he can't go outside.
Not.
He about to get...
Or maybe not. Maybe she might be like,
does he really deserve to get jumped outside? He do.
Yeah.
Okay. All of them do. Okay, you're right.
Yes.
All of them do. It's the light skin in me that made me feel sorry for him. If he was dark skin, I'm kidding. No, you're right. You're like,
yes,
you know what though? Public flogging. There was a woman who literally had a business. When men would cheat on women, she would say, I'll go beat them up for you. And you remember, I was down with this philosophy. I was like, we won't have that many cheaters if we publicly flogged these men. Like they would, if they knew that they had to deal with this every time they was on some bull, like they wouldn't do it as much. At least that's my philosophy.
Well, and I know we have to wrap soon. One thing I also, want to surface too is like when you obviously ask the question that we've asked a lot on this podcast, are the men okay? The other part of this that gets to kind of the misogyny of how some men are looking at this is feeling like she wasn't worthy and didn't deserve somebody great because of what she rapped about or does rap about, or because there's this perception about her because of the type of music that she puts out there. Like, oh, that's why you can't wife these kind of girls, as if she's a specific kind. And it's like, hold up. All right. Number one, ain't none of y'all passing a purity test. Everybody got to pass. And regardless of what we think we may know about some of the decisions he has made romantically, it is been upsetting to me to see so many men comment like she deserved this because of the quote type of woman that she was. It's like that same Lori Harvey nonsense where people are like, oh, because Lori Harvey has dated, like she's in her 20s. This is exactly what she should be doing. And some of y'all men are acting like, are you sure you just ain't mad at Megan because you wanted her spot? Because like some of y'all been acting ridiculous.
Like that's their boyfriend.
Like why you I understand why we're sort of invested, but it's like, bro, he got a bunch of championships and I get it. He's made a lot of money, but that doesn't really mean anything. That doesn't mean that he deserves to be a jerk, that he has earned the right to be a jerk. It is a reality. You have options because you dated it or because, you're a professional athlete. Like that part is understood.
There's no, like,
I'm not normalizing that.
These men think it's okay to cheat. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. Not all men feel that way, but a lot of men feel like
not
it's
all
okay.
Men, but always a man.
Oh, not all men, but always a man. Men think men are like, I understand. Like we eat with our eyes, we're attracted to aesthetics.
Like they just trip and fall into the powwow all the time.
Yeah, like it's like, I seriously, you have a conversation with men you like. I would ask people that we think are upstanding, like have a conversation with Ian about this. Do a bedtime conversation with Ian about this and see if Ian can understand Klay not being able to be monogamous. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think
they can understand it, but like, I don't know that he would justify that kind of.
Like if that was I think y'all should have the conversation.
Okay,
I think you should have the conversation and hear his philosophy.
So you just want us to have a fight, is what you.
Well, listen. I love you dearly. We got another pod to do, so I'm gonna jump, and I will be able to converse with you more about this. I'm sure we'll have more updates, but we got to let folks know. We got to talk about Diana Rossini. It's been a busy weekend. We got to talk about Diana Rossini and the latest
White House Correspondents' Dinner.
At the White House Correspondents' Dinner, like all the nonsense. And we'll look and we'll see what happens with the Meg of it all. Okay.
I just want you to know I'm heartbroken and I am not okay because I needed this to work. I was a bridesmaid in the wedding. They just didn't know it.
I thought you were a flower girl too. Okay.
I was.
All right. Me on my shoulder. I'm logging off. Okay.
Let's hope by then you have range of motion back in your shoulder. You know, maybe Secure King can help you with that.
Good girl.